Have you ever wondered what would actually happen if you stopped eating sugar for just 2 weeks? We're not talking about going on an extreme diet or giving up every bit of sweetness forever. We're simply talking about taking a short break, 14 days, from refined sugars, desserts, sodas, pastries, and all the sneaky sweeteners hiding in packaged foods. Now, it might sound small, but what happens inside your body during those 2 weeks is nothing short of remarkable. Because sugar doesn't just affect your waistline, it affects nearly every cell in your body. From your brain to your skin, your liver to your mood. Every organ feels the difference when you remove the constant sugar load it's been fighting against for years. So today, let's walk through exactly what happens, day by day, system by system, when you give up sugar for just 2 weeks. And by the time we reach the end, you'll see why this short experiment might just change the way you eat, think, and feel forever. Welcome to Age Well Daily, where we uncover simple, science-backed ways to help you live stronger, longer, and better. Let's begin. 1. You lose your appetite for sugar. It sounds almost impossible at first, right? How can quitting sugar make you crave it less when sugar is what your body's used to getting every day? But the truth is, sugar cravings are not a sign of weakness, they're a sign of chemistry. Here's what happens. When you eat sugary foods, your blood sugar spikes rapidly. That sudden surge gives you an instant burst of energy, and your brain loves it. Dopamine, the pleasure chemical, floods your system, making you feel good for a moment. But that spike doesn't last. Within an hour or two, your insulin rushes in to bring your blood sugar back down, and it often overcompensates, sending your levels too low. That crash leaves you feeling tired, irritable, and hungry again, usually craving more sugar to bring the levels back up. It's a vicious cycle: spike, crash, crave, repeat. And the more often this happens, the more your brain and taste buds adapt to high levels of sweetness. You start needing more and more to feel satisfied. But here's the good news. This cycle can start to reverse in as little as 72 hours. When you stop feeding the sugar loop, your taste receptors begin to reset. Your dopamine response calms down, and your body starts to remember how to get energy from real food again: fats, proteins, and complex carbohydrates instead of constant sugar hits. Within just 3 to 4 days, most people notice that desserts taste too sweet, or that fruits suddenly taste incredibly satisfying. That's your body's natural balance returning. And it's the first major victory of your 2-week sugar reset. By the end of the first week, your cravings dramatically decrease. And by the second week, many people report that they're not even tempted by the same foods that once had total control over them. The science behind this is simple. When insulin sensitivity improves and dopamine signaling normalizes, your brain no longer demands sugar for pleasure. You begin to crave nourishment instead of stimulation. So if you can just make it past those first few tough days, the headaches, the irritability, the slight energy dips, you'll find yourself in a completely different state, a calmer, more balanced one where you decide when and what to eat, not your sugar cravings. 2. You feel less hungry overall. When you're hooked on sugar, hunger isn't real hunger. It's biochemical confusion. You can eat a full meal, yet an hour later your brain starts whispering, maybe just a cookie or a little snack. Here's why that happens. When your diet is filled with refined carbs, white bread, sugary drinks, processed cereals, your blood sugar constantly goes up and down like a roller coaster. Each time it drops, your brain interprets it as low fuel, even though you actually have plenty of energy stored in fat. The problem is, your body has forgotten how to access that fat efficiently, because insulin is always elevated. When you stop eating sugar, that roller coaster finally levels out. Your insulin levels drop, your cells regain sensitivity, and your metabolism starts shifting gears from sugar burning to fat burning. That's the turning point. Because when your body starts burning fat for energy, your hunger becomes stable, logical, and quiet. You stop getting those desperate, I need food now urges. Instead, your energy lasts longer between meals and your focus stays steady. Think of it like switching your body from running on kindling, which is sugar, to burning slow, steady logs, which is fat. Kindling burns bright and fast, but it's gone in minutes. Logs keep you warm for hours. Within about a week, most people notice that they can easily go several hours without thinking about food, sometimes even skipping snacks naturally without effort or willpower. Your body's internal clock resets. Your hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin, start communicating properly again. Studies published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition show that when people reduce added sugars, their overall daily calorie intake naturally drops, not because they're dieting, but because their hunger signals normalize. So, giving up sugar doesn't just make you less hungry, it helps you trust your body again. You begin to feel the difference between true hunger and habit hunger. And that sense of calm, of not being controlled by cravings, is one of the most empowering changes you'll ever feel. 3. You experience less fatigue and more energy. This one surprises most people. They think, if I give up sugar, won't I have less energy? Actually, it's the opposite. Yes, sugar gives you quick energy, but it's false energy. It's like caffeine without the coffee. A temporary high followed by a crash. When you eat something sugary, glucose floods your bloodstream and your body releases a burst of insulin to handle it. At first, you feel that quick lift, alert, awake, maybe even euphoric. But as insulin pushes that sugar into your cells, your blood sugar plummets again. And that drop brings fatigue, brain fog, and irritability. Now imagine repeating that pattern 5, 6, 10 times a day, with every snack, drink, or healthy granola bar. It's no wonder so many people feel exhausted all the time. Their energy system is constantly crashing and rebooting. When you quit sugar, your body no longer rides those constant highs and lows. Instead, your cells start using stored fat for energy, a much more stable and abundant source of fuel. Fat oxidation produces energy gradually, cleanly, and efficiently, without the sudden spikes and crashes. Within the first few days, your mitochondria, the little energy factories inside every cell, begin functioning better. They're no longer overloaded by sugar metabolism and oxidative stress. And that's when the magic happens. Your daily energy stabilizes. You start waking up without that foggy heaviness, your mid-afternoon crash disappears, and your sleep at night becomes deeper and more restorative. Many people also notice improved focus and mental clarity. That's because high sugar intake actually impairs brain energy metabolism and increases inflammation in neuropathways. Once the sugar's gone, your brain cells can communicate more clearly and efficiently again. So instead of energy that spikes and drops, you get energy that flows, steady, calm, and real. The kind of energy that lasts from morning to night and doesn't depend on caffeine or sugar to keep going. That's what 2 weeks without sugar can do. It can help you rediscover your natural vitality. 4. You start losing excess water and fat. Here's where the visible transformation begins. Many people think they're gaining fat when they eat sugar, but the first thing they actually gain is water. Here's why. Every gram of stored carbohydrate, in the form of glycogen, holds about 3 to 4 grams of water. So when you eat sugar and refined carbs regularly, your liver and muscles become loaded with glycogen, and that glycogen traps water along with it. That's why people can gain several pounds overnight after a high-carb meal. But when you stop eating sugar, your glycogen stores begin to deplete. As they do, your body naturally releases all that excess water. Within the first week, you might notice your face looking less puffy, your rings fitting better, and your belly feeling flatter, not because you've lost fat yet, but because your cells are finally releasing that retained water. Now, here's the even better part. Once your insulin levels drop, which happens quickly when you cut sugar, your body's fat-burning switch turns back on. Insulin is a storage hormone. When it's high, it tells your body to store fat and prevents you from burning it. But when it's low, Your body finally gets permission to use stored fat for fuel. That's when you start burning the fat around your midsection, hips, and thighs. The stubborn fat that often refuses to budge, even with exercise. Studies from the Journal of Nutrition and Metabolism have shown that participants who reduced sugar intake experienced a measurable increase in fat oxidation, even without cutting total calories. So within 2 weeks, not only do you lose water weight, but you begin to see your metabolism shifting toward real, sustainable fat loss. Your clothes fit differently, your body feels lighter, and your confidence begins to rise. And perhaps most importantly, it's not just about appearance. Lowering fat around your liver, pancreas, and arteries means lowering inflammation, improving insulin sensitivity, and reducing your long-term risk of chronic diseases. So yes, you'll look better, but more importantly, you'll function better. And that's where true transformation begins.
5. You experience an enhanced mood and a calmer mind. Sugar doesn't just affect your body, it plays a massive role in your emotions and mental state. For many people, sugar is more than just a taste preference, it's a form of emotional self-medication. When you're stressed, sad, or anxious, the brain craves quick relief. Sugar gives you that temporarily. It triggers a surge of dopamine and serotonin, the same brain chemicals linked to feelings of pleasure and calm. That's why a piece of cake or a chocolate bar can feel like comfort. But here's the catch. That chemical high is short-lived, and the crash that follows is even deeper. After the spike, dopamine receptors become less sensitive, serotonin drops, and stress hormones, like cortisol, rise. You feel moody, tired, foggy, or even anxious. It's the emotional equivalent of a sugar hangover. But when you quit sugar for 2 weeks, something fascinating happens inside your brain chemistry. Your neurotransmitters, those chemical messengers responsible for mood regulation, start to rebalance naturally. Your dopamine levels stabilize, meaning you don't need constant external hits from sweet foods to feel good. Your serotonin pathways become more responsive, which helps you feel calmer, happier, and more emotionally steady throughout the day. Several studies have found a direct link between high sugar intake and depression or anxiety. A 2017 study published in Scientific Reports found that people with diets high in refined sugars had significantly higher risks of mood disorders. Meanwhile, individuals who cut sugar and increased nutrient-rich foods such as leafy greens, nuts, and fish reported better mood stability and less fatigue. So, after giving up sugar, you may find yourself feeling more level-headed, less reactive, and surprisingly, happier. Even small daily stressors don't feel as overwhelming because your nervous system isn't being constantly overstimulated by sugar spikes and crashes. Your adrenal glands, which produce stress hormones, finally get to rest. Your sleep quality improves, which further enhances mood and emotional control. In short, without sugar clouding your chemistry, you rediscover your natural emotional rhythm, one that's calmer, lighter, and more resilient. The mental fog lifts. You start waking up with more motivation and mental clarity. And you realize something truly powerful. You never needed sugar to feel better. Your body just needed balance. 6. Your skin starts to look healthier and more radiant. Now, this is one change you can see as much as you can feel. If you've ever noticed dullness, puffiness, or breakouts that seem to appear out of nowhere, sugar could be the hidden culprit. Here's why. When you eat sugar, it attaches to proteins in your bloodstream through a process called glycation. This creates compounds known as advanced glycation end products, or AGEs for short. And those AGEs, appropriately named, do exactly what they sound like. They age your skin. They damage collagen and elastin, the fibers that keep your skin firm, smooth, and youthful. Over time, this leads to sagging, wrinkles, and a tired, uneven complexion. On top of that, high sugar levels increase insulin, which triggers inflammation throughout the body, including your skin. That inflammation can worsen acne, rosacea, and even eczema. But when you cut sugar, this damage begins to reverse surprisingly fast. Within just 2 weeks, many people report that their skin looks clearer, less oily, and more hydrated. That's because inflammation subsides, collagen breakdown slows, and your cells can finally repair themselves without constant oxidative stress. Your body also starts producing more natural antioxidants, like glutathione, which protect your skin from environmental damage and UV aging. And with insulin back to normal levels, your oil glands stop overproducing sebum, leading to fewer clogged pores and breakouts. In a 2019 study published in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, researchers found that people who reduced their added sugar intake had visibly improved skin elasticity and hydration compared to those who continued eating high-sugar diets. Your skin literally glows because your internal inflammation goes down. Your blood flow improves, bringing more oxygen and nutrients to the skin's surface. And when your liver isn't overworked processing sugar and fat, it can focus on detoxifying your body more efficiently, another big reason your skin starts to clear up. So when someone tells you, "You're glowing, what skincare are you using?" you can smile and say, "It's not a product, it's what I stopped eating." That's the power of cutting sugar. It's the ultimate anti-aging, skin-reviving, natural detox your body already knows how to do. It just needs the chance.
7. You notice less stiffness and pain in your joints. Joint stiffness, especially in the morning, is one of the most common complaints people have as they age. But what if that stiffness isn't just from getting older? What if sugar is silently fueling the inflammation that makes your joints ache and your body feel heavy? Sugar increases levels of inflammatory messengers called cytokines. These molecules irritate the tissues around your joints, leading to pain, swelling, and reduced mobility. It's the same process that can worsen arthritis, muscle soreness, and even back pain. On top of that, sugar raises uric acid, a compound that can crystallize in joints, especially in the feet and knees, causing discomfort and stiffness. When you remove sugar from your diet, inflammation markers start to drop. Your blood becomes less acidic, your tissues retain less water, and your joints can finally recover instead of constantly fighting irritation. After about 2 weeks, many people describe feeling lighter, not just in weight, but in movement. You might notice that walking upstairs feels easier, your knees bend more smoothly, and the stiffness that used to greet you every morning begins to fade. Magnesium and potassium balance also improve when you're not consuming excess sugar. These minerals are critical for muscle relaxation and fluid balance in tissues. When they're depleted, as happens with high sugar intake, cramps and tightness become common. Once restored, your muscles and joints start functioning the way they're supposed to. A 2016 study in Nutrients Journal confirmed that diets low in added sugars and refined carbs significantly reduce C-reactive protein, CRP, one of the key blood markers for inflammation. So yes, giving up sugar isn't just about your waistline, it's about your mobility. It's about waking up without pain. It's about moving through your day without stiffness, swelling, or fatigue holding you back. And that's one of the most liberating feelings of all, when your body feels young again, not because of a supplement or a medicine, but because you gave it what it truly needed, a break from sugar's constant assault.
The big picture. What 2 weeks without sugar really means. Now you've seen all 7 major transformations that happen inside your body when you stop eating sugar, and none of them require years to show results. In just 14 days, your cravings fade, your hunger stabilizes, your energy rises, your fat stores begin to burn, your mood brightens, your skin glows, and your joints move more freely.
But beyond the physical changes, there's something deeper that happens. Something you can't measure in a lab. You regain control. You realize that you don't need constant sweet rewards to get through the day. You rediscover what real energy feels like: steady, calm, and sustainable. You start appreciating food for what it truly is: fuel, not comfort. This short break from sugar often becomes a turning point for people. It's the moment they stop feeling like victims of their cravings and start feeling like partners with their bodies again. And once you feel that, once you experience what it's like to wake up clear-headed, strong, and in control, it's hard to go back. You'll begin noticing how hidden sugars sneak into almost every packaged food: bread, sauces, dressings, even healthy protein bars. But now, instead of craving them, you'll question them. You'll start reading labels differently, making choices consciously, not habitually. That's when you know you've won. Because sugar addiction isn't just about taste, it's about disconnection. When you remove it, you reconnect with your body's natural intelligence, to rhythms and signals that tell you when you're truly hungry, when you're full, when you're energized, and when you need rest. Your sleep improves, your digestion settles, your focus sharpens, and that steady, calm energy you feel throughout the day, that's your body running the way it was designed to, free of interference, free of dependency. So if you've been thinking about taking a sugar break, do it. Not to punish yourself, not to diet, not to chase perfection, but to listen. To give your body 2 weeks of silence from the constant noise sugar brings. Because within those 2 weeks, you'll discover something beautiful. Your body doesn't need sugar to thrive. It needs your patience, your consistency, and your willingness to start. Even if it's hard for a few days, even if you slip once or twice, every day without sugar is a step toward clarity, vitality, and longevity. And remember, you're not doing this alone. Thousands of people, just like you, are making small daily choices that lead to massive long-term change. And together, we're proving that it's never too late to rewrite your story of health. So as you end your 2-week challenge or begin it, look at how far you've come. You've learned what's really behind the cravings. You've seen the science that explains why your body feels the way it does. And now you hold the key to something most people spend their whole lives chasing: balance. That's the essence of true health. Not perfection, but balance. So go ahead, take that first step, skip that soda, pass on that dessert, and remind yourself this isn't about restriction, it's about freedom. Freedom from cravings, freedom from fatigue, freedom from feeling stuck in your own body. Because your body already knows how to heal. All it needs is for you to get out of its way. And 2 weeks without sugar is the most powerful way to begin. A Gel Well Daily, helping you rediscover your strength one simple change at a time.